Iron Widow. The first thing I noticed was the silence. Not the kind that comes after a joke dies, but the kind that crawls under your skin and waits. She was laughing, my wife's sister, holding a beer like it held her authority. Her voice cut through the chatter at the backyard barbecue. "So what, you file paperwork for the army?" The others laughed. I smiled, polite, wiped my hands on a napkin. "No," I said, "I fly." That should have been the end of it, a polite correction, a non-story. But she smirked. "Oh yeah? What's your call sign?" I don't know why I said it. Maybe I wanted to see their faces. Maybe I wanted to remind myself I was still real. Iron Widow. The air shifted, like a sudden drop in cabin pressure. Her father, my wife's father, stopped mid-chew. A Navy SEAL, retired. His eyes flicked up, sharp, assessing. The man had seen things most people couldn't spell. He went still. Then, quietly, "Girl, apologize. Now." His voice carried the kind of authority that had ended wars. The laughter died. The wind even stopped playing with the flag in the yard. My wife's sister blinked. "What? I was just—" "Now," she stammered, confused. The others didn't understand, but he did. He knew exactly who I was. And that's when I realized something. He wasn't afraid for me. He was afraid of me. That night, my wife asked if I'd enjoyed myself. Her tone was too casual, her eyes too careful. "I did," I lied. "Your family's lively." She smiled, a soft, manufactured smile, and turned away. I watched her reflection in the window, the same woman who had waited for me through 3 deployments, who'd sent letters soaked in perfume and lies. But something about her father's reaction lingered. That look, that recognition. Iron Widow. It wasn't a name tossed around lightly. Only one person could have told him. Her. The same person who promised she'd never mention what I did. The same person who swore she didn't care what happened before I came home. My chest felt heavy, like I'd inhaled smoke. Later, when she fell asleep, I stared at the glow of her phone on the nightstand. A new message blinked, "Good night, beautiful," from a number saved as R. I didn't open it, not yet. I just sat there, hands still, heartbeat steady. That's the thing about war, you learn to wait before you strike. The next morning, I started collecting data, not emotions, facts. They don't lie. I memorized her schedule. When she showered, when she left her phone charging in the kitchen, when she went running with Claire. Claire hadn't posted a single workout photo in weeks. I didn't confront, didn't accuse, just watched. Her laughter changed, too bright, too performative. She started humming while dressing, the way women do when they're thinking about someone else. One night, I went for a drive, parked 3 blocks from the address she'd called for a work meeting, waited. At 10:47 p.m., she came out. Not alone. He was tall, confident, the kind of man who thought secrecy was a game. They didn't kiss. Smart. But she touched his arm the way she used to touch mine, unconsciously, possessively. I watched from behind the tinted glass, unblinking. By the next morning, I had his name, his number, his military file. Captain Ryan Dalton, Air Operations Division, married, 2 children. It made sense. She always liked men who reminded her of me, until they didn't. 3 days later, a routine medical screening at base gave me the opportunity I needed. A single swab, a borrowed hairbrush. DNA doesn't lie. I mailed it in under a project name only I would recognize. Project Widow. Then I waited. There's a kind of peace in patience, the silence before the truth detonates. The report arrived on a Monday, plain envelope, no return address. I read it once, then again. The numbers were clear. The child, our daughter, was not mine. Not genetically, not biologically, not at all. I didn't move, didn't breathe, just stared at the neat black text until it blurred into white noise. 3 years of bedtime stories. 3 years of calling her baby girl. 3 years of believing in a version of love that never existed. I folded the report carefully, slid it into a folder marked classified. Then I poured myself a drink and waited for her to come home. When she did, I was calm, almost gentle. "Rough day?" she asked, kicking off her shoes. "Routine," I said. "Yours?" She smiled, that same rehearsed warmth. "The usual, you know." I nodded, then handed her the folder. She frowned. "What's this?" "Just something I've been working on." Her fingers trembled as she opened it. The color drained from her face. Her lips parted, but no words came. She looked up at me, eyes wide. You tested?" I didn't answer, didn't need to. Her body began to shake. It's not what you think. Say it," I whispered. Tears filled her eyes. "It was one time. I didn't think." "You didn't think I'd find out." Silence swallowed the room. She fell apart in front of me, every word breaking under its own weight. But I just sat there, unmoving. I'd spent years flying combat missions through enemy fire. Her lies were quieter, but just as lethal. I didn't yell, didn't curse. I simply stood, walked to the drawer, and pulled out a small flash drive. She looked at it, confused. "What's that?" "Flight data," I said. "Yours and his." Her lips trembled. What do you mean?" "Iron Widow doesn't just fly planes," I said. "She observes patterns, coordinates, frequencies." I tossed the drive onto the table. "It's a complete record of every call, every message, every hotel receipt. Your father's contact will receive it in the morning." She froze. "My dad, you wouldn't—" "Oh, I already did." Her knees buckled. "Please, he'll never forgive me." "That's not my problem." I moved toward the door, pausing just long enough to look back. "You told him my call sign?" "I told him your truth. Seems fair." Her tears fell freely now, but there was no sound, just the quiet collapse of her world. I watched, detached, as realization washed over her, that her secret wasn't just exposed, it was erased. I left the house without another word. The night air was cold, clean, honest. I didn't go back. 2 days later, my commanding officer approved my transfer request. Classified overseas assignment. Solo deployment. No questions asked. I left behind the house, the photos, the ghosts. Only one thing came with me, the call sign she'd mocked. Iron Widow. It wasn't just a name, it was a title I'd earned. Not for surviving war, but for surviving her. Sometimes people ask why I never remarried. I tell them flying gives me peace. The truth is simpler. Once you've stared at the wreckage of something you loved and walked away, you learn not to build anything that can burn. My wife's father never called. He didn't need to. He knew. And somewhere, maybe she still waits for an apology that will never come. But I don't owe her one. Because when you betray a soldier, you don't just lose their trust. You lose the right to be remembered. And I don't remember her name anymore. Only the silence. Only the truth. Only the sky. Iron Widow doesn't grieve. She ascends.